scored the goal, as you said there, against Norwich City in the semi-final on the same day as Hillsborough. And, talk us through that range of emotions when you've come off the pitch, presumably elated that you've made it to Wembley and you scored the winning goal, and then you hear that.
I think as I described it, I floated off the pitch, honestly. We only won 1-0. I scored the winning goal. I've paid back some of that £1 million that they buy, So I'm really, really happy about it. So Austin Powers reference for anyone who didn't get it.
Yeah, we get it.
I know you two did. So we've kind of come off the grid. And as I'm walking off, there's I think it was Mike Ingham waiting there to interview me for the radio for BBC. And he said before we started, look, I just need to tell you, Pat, there's people being killed at Hillsborough in the game. And your kind of mind, it's really hard to explain to people because you are in the most high that you may have ever had in football. You're at Wembley, FA Cup final. I got them there. It's just everything perfect. Back from a cruciate injury that I should never have got back from. I got back from it in 3 months. And everything's high. And as I'm standing there, he started an interview. I remember being bumped. Who's that? It was like Trevor Stephen. It was like, who never bumps anybody. He was winding me up. It just, everyone was buzzing right. And then he just said to me, before we go on air, Pat, the people have died. And then he asked me the question, we're straight on air. And I'm really happy. How do you feel after the game? And I went, wow, it's brilliant to score a goal. And I've never been, it's going real high for my career. And then you can just feel it going, oh my God. And the time we didn't know how many had died.
Yeah.
He said many have died. And you just thought, because it's Liverpool fans. And he'd said it was Liverpool fans. And by the time I walked into the dressing room, they'd just been told. And it was, it was a horrible moment. And what happened, I've written about, again, last book, about all the things that happened in that period and just after it and before the cup final happened. It was traumatic. Now, Glasgow went through it in 71, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The Ibrox disaster. Those days, it's not that it didn't go out of Glasgow, but, it wasn't on colour television pictures and newspapers out with the city. For Glasgow suffered, Scotland suffered for it, Rangers Football Club suffered for it. But this, a few years later, it was the world knew it, seen it, and it is lodged in the world's brain. It shouldn't be any more or any less than the Ibrox disaster, but that's just the way it has gone because of the time it happened. But what it crushed that city, it really did, and a number of things happened. I mean, a lot of memories, but the worst, the hardest, and this is absolutely true. When I was writing about this, I actually was really was crying because we went to a lot of funerals, and there was so many funerals that, a lot of the players we had to go to 3 in a day sometimes, and it was young kids that had died, and you're standing there, and I'm a young child myself at this point, and you're going, and they were singing "You'll Never Walk Alone" at the end, and you can not break down at that. And it was the big thing was the dignity of the Scousers was beyond belief, and they do get a lot of stuff thrown at them, and there's no city's perfect, but the dignified way that they behaved at that point in time was absolutely, I was completely and utterly amazed by them.
It must have been hard to live in the middle of that misery and grief. I mean, it must have felt absolutely hollow inside just to be surrounded by it, bombarded by the grief.
Well, I didn't want to play football. I didn't want to play in the cup final. And it said it very openly. That final shouldn't go ahead. Which, again, you see, we get some things right in our lives and some things wrong. I got it wrong, but hopefully I got it wrong for the right reasons. Yeah, the game should have been played because it wasn't my call to make. It's not got to do with me. The call was the families of those who died. And they all said the same. They said, no, play the game in memory of, because it was, of course, fortunately, it was Everton v Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it was a celebration of the city, and, the poignancy was there. And, nobody in the world wanted the Blues to win that day. Everybody wanted Liverpool to win that day, but we weren't going to let them off. We were going to we were going to be honourable and be honest to the people that had gone, and honest to ourselves and honest to every fan. So, you know, the right thing was done. We played. There's a picture which I almost used in the book, in my last book, but I didn't. And it's of me after I played a little kind of, I like to think it Iniesta ball through to one of our players who clipped across to Stuart McCall. I think it was his first or his second. Stuart McCall scored to get us into injury time. And our fans came on the pitch, and there's a picture of me. Honestly, you think I'm close to thumping this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why are you on the pitch?
Mm-hmm.
Those people have just been crushed to death in the semi-final because there are wires up there. We've taken the wires down, and you've run on the pitch. I couldn't get the logic of what an idiot or what idiot to do this. They were just getting carried away. But you know, Ernest and me was fuming at that point. But that was the only point in time in that game where I was like furious. The rest of the time, just no, okay, get down, play a game, do the right thing. But up until just a week or so before the final, I didn't think it should be played, and I didn't particularly want to play. And
was that a feeling that was replicated among your teammates, Pat, and from what you could gather, the Liverpool players as well, or well?
Hey, you know, footballers, they don't talk. You don't talk about feelings and things like that. There was an uncertainty. They would have, what they did say, and I will say this: the players were comfortable not to play it. There wouldn't have been no, we have to play this final.
There's a medal at stake.
Exactly, and so they wouldn't. There wasn't a. Oh, I hope the final's not cancelled. It wasn't that. It was a. Yeah, we'll accept what the decisions are. It's not. In the end, I felt initially I thought I had to ask when I was asked the question by journalists, etc. And I gave my honest answer. But my honest answer was the wrong answer. The right answer was listen to the families, and they made the decision. And there was a medal, which for me was the runners-up, and I got it and I put it in a bin straight after the game. To which,
yeah, are you joking?
No, you know, no, I didn't want a runners-up medal. Not interested. It means nothing. So what I did was I put it in a bin. Somebody spotted it and sent it back to me.
Right.
The good old days. I'm kind of happy they did. I don't know where, but if I really rustled about, I could probably find it somewhere. But yeah, it's kind of, it's not of anything of great importance to me. You go to win, you know, a medal. Silver's nice, but it's the gold you want.